all asking questions and speaking about their own personal business. And you have that opportunity tonight. So do not let it go to waste. I am here tonight with one of Tony Robbins' master coaches. I'm actually representing Tony tonight. I've got the hat on to hide my big mullet because we haven't had any haircuts. And I'm here tonight with Mr. Ivor Lok. Ivor he has been a master coach for Tony. That was where I met Ivor originally. I actually paid a lot of money to join the Platinum Group. And part of that Platinum Group meant that I had a personal coach with a Tony Robbins master coach. And I was lucky enough to strike up a friendship with mine. We become good buddies. We've done businesses together. We've obviously done the podcast Surviving Business together. And we're here tonight to share all of our expertise and to give you gold nuggets and help in any which way, or maybe ask you or help you frame the right question in your mind that unlocks your business and turns your complete movement around. So I'm really excited. Mr. Ivor Lok, how are you, Ivor?
Amazing, my friend. Amazing. It's a good time. It's a very interesting time to be online at the moment and to be able to do this live. It's it's unprecedented, the times that we're going through and how everybody's not just planning but adapting at the moment, not just adapting but adjusting. So I know that we both had plans going into 2020. How's your plans looking going at the moment?
Mate, I seen a meme the other day that basically said, I've done the 90-day trial of 2020 and I want my money back. It has the calendars that we had written out. I was supposed to spend 3 months in the United States. My partner, and she is from Utah, and we were planning to get over there to meet her family and spend some quality time over there and go all the way through almost to Thanksgiving. And of course, we can't even get out of the house, mate. And that's the struggling bit. But things are changing rapidly, mate. We don't know what's going to happen next week. So let's not get down on ourselves. And one of the tough things, Ivor, I've been finding, mate, is I'm actually realizing how much of a social person I am. Mate, how much I actually enjoy going out of the house and getting amongst it and just watching the interactions of other human beings. I've really had to catch myself a few times of sitting there and actually just feeling a little bit like, this is it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think thank goodness for video conferencing, isn't it? Thank goodness for video conferencing. I actually saw an article that somebody wrote that said, how tired they were getting from doing Zoom calls or video conferencing. And I actually read it and I went, wait a minute. I think that there's an adjustment that needs to be made here. There's a little bit of wait a minute, because when I do a call, whether I'm on both sides of the camera, whether I'm presenting or whether I'm an attendee, I'm getting charged up. So, I said, well, could this be about personality rather than just, people getting tired from watching the screen in a way?
Yeah.
And when you think about it, like certain people actually get energy from being in a big room of a lot of noise in a way. And some people they can utilize that for a while, but then they need to go back to their room or wherever they are to kind of hide away in their cave and kind of regenerate because they're not used to having all of that energy coming at them all at once. So, how do you find your the being online, because you do a lot of sessions, not only from being a presenter but also attending a lot of sessions as well. How do you find it?
Well, I think you bring up a really, really big point. I know that a lot of when we've done a lot of coaching in the past and we talk about state, and when we talk about, some of the biggest business leaders on the face of the earth, they've had an ability to create an energy machine inside themselves where they've actually been able to, not only feed themselves energy, but also be able to draw it from certain situations, get themselves in the right state of mind and right framework to go forward. And mate, look, I while I'm doing the calls, I think fantastic. I think it's amazing. We're definitely more juiced. I think the simple act of giving back to other people and being able to share and just to be able to help and actually know in my heart that I'm doing it from a position of trying to give as much as I can for as little as possible. I think that that allows me to really juice myself up. That to me is a real driver for energy. And I know that you're the same, aren't you, Ivor? I mean, like, mate, that, you know, that's a really big thing that we can pull back on. What's some other ways, mate, that you think that people can jump in and really start to work on their energy machines?
Well, look, I think you're quite right about it's state induction, isn't it, in a way, and it's about being able to really be able to think about where you're at. And I mean, a lot of people can jump on the spot. I mean, a lot of people go to a lot of Tony Robbins events and they go, "Why are these people at a rock concert? Why are these people dancing around? Why are they jumping around?" And it's got nothing to do with being at the rock concert. It's about creating energy. So if you actually just stand on the spot at the moment and you just absolutely just jump in the air and actually do that for 5 minutes, you'll find that you regenerate very, very quickly. It's the reason why I have a trampoline in my office. And even while I'm on calls, and obviously not on this call because I'm in front of the camera. However, when I'm actually talking to clients, I'm actually on the trampoline, and I might be on the trampoline just moving around, because what they're actually doing, it's actually pumping your lymphatic system as well. So, a lot of people don't actually understand that once they get that moving, and once you can move your physiology in the right way, you actually can induce a great state of being, in a way. I mean, just prior to this, coming into this, I was, a little bit tired. I mean, I've been kind of burning the candles at both ends. And so I went for a quick 20-minute nap, not right before this call, but a little bit early on. And I said, okay, I need to recharge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just nap for 20 minutes, in a way. And it's not a nano nap. It's a focused 20-minute nap that I know what will actually occur at the back end of that. And what that does is that will now charge me up for the rest of the night. And actually, when I actually come off this call tonight, it will actually take me probably another hour or an hour and a half just to actually come down. So it's actually very interesting what you can do. And this is at 9:10 at night. I can just keep going. Okay, we can be until midnight, and I showed it actually last week when I was actually on a call at 2 a.m. in the morning, and actually, by 3 a.m., which is when you really think about it, 3 a.m. is your sleep cycle, middle of your sleep cycle. I was actually presenting to the US and actually running mini sessions with a group as well, for another group of individuals, in a way.
Yeah, it's huge, man. And I mean, yeah, people see, as you say, people jumping around and think that it's all hocus pocus, but there's not just a science, but it's a psychology in behind it as well. Being able to get yourself in the right state of mind and know that you can get yourself into that frame of mind whenever you need to, man, that is pretty powerful as well, because, there's always situations, in life when you just need to be able to get yourself in state. A couple of years ago, I actually came back from a really long holiday, and my wife at the time, we've currently been separated, but she got really sick that ended up with her in a coma for 10 days. And during that period, mate, my sleep patterns went out the window. I was completely ruined, physically, mentally. I was in a really bad place, and I had a really big business meeting that actually came up in the middle of that cycle that I just couldn't break. I couldn't get rid of. And mate, I remember my manager, he drove me to that business meeting, and I sat out the front of that business meeting and went through a pattern to get myself back in a state. I drove certain anchoring points. I jumped around, and I walked into that meeting. I literally did that meeting on fire, did the deal that I needed to do, and then walked out, and then basically collapsed back into a heap. Mate, it's an ability to know that if you can actually draw back onto that and practice it and consistently go over and over and over again, and this is a skill set that you're able to pull from when you need it most. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, Ivor, is it's not just about doing business deals. This is about turning up and showing up, when your kids need you, when your partner needs you, when you're, whatever that may be, right? I mean, these are life skills.
100%, 100%. And you're right, it doesn't come naturally. I mean, I definitely wasn't something that came naturally to me. When I first went to a Tony Robbins event, I remember Tony actually asking us to run around and act like monkeys, and to hug each other, and to cuddle and do all these things. And I'm looking at it and going, man, this guy's weird.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And when you're actually going through the process of understanding the reason why it's happening, and why it's good for you, and how it can help in the future, and how it can help your world, it's a game changer. It really is. It truly is. It's the difference between actually somebody being in a place of overwhelm, or in a place of incredible thrive, if you want to put it that way. And when you actually look at the people that have actually been able to drive through problematic areas, it's 100% the fact that they're able to induce a different state of being. And sometimes it's a natural state of being. Sometimes people can get into a very calm state, and I get into a very calm state. And we spoke about that a couple of times, when you actually get into a really calm state, and that allows you to be able to then dictate the state that you truly want to be in. And then, of course, it's then being able to say, okay, well, do I want to be in an excitable state? And you would try to be in an excitable state all the time. That's burning energy. It's the same thing being in a depressed state. If you're running anxiety all the time, in high anxiety, that's also burning up energy as well. So really what you want to do is you want to be grounded, and you want to be calm as you work through, but knowing that you can bring the state of being.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And that's the understanding of being able to really, truly engage, and almost go, actually, wait a minute, let's lift that energy up in a way. Let's lift the energy.
So there's practices, obviously, that we can do. One of the things that my daughter, she's currently 23, but we'll go back. She was about 16, 17 at the time. And mate, she was in this amazing space. She had a new boyfriend. Everything seemed to be going great. And I went through a little process with her where I basically had her sitting in the kitchen, and I got her to be in a very joyful state, meaning a very, loving, joyful state. And when she did, I actually grabbed her shoulder and I pinched her shoulder as hard as I could, right? Not to hurt her, but just pinched it really heavily and anchored that feeling in. I asked her to intensify it. I said, intensify that feeling. We got her into an even more heightened state. I told her to laugh, to feel loved, really concentrate on what you feel like when you feel loved. And she was in such a good place that when she was there, she could really see it on her face. And then I squeezed that shoulder again. The next thing I did is I actually asked her to intensify it one more time. And we did this over and over and over again. And I kept getting her to intensify that feeling and kept squeezing that shoulder. Sure enough, like most 16-year-old girls do, a couple of weeks, about a month goes by. And of course, she has this breakup with this boyfriend that she thought was going to be her lifelong love. She was in a very depressed state. She was crying. She was in this extremely agitated state. And all I did was walk up to her and grab her. And as I did, I squeezed that shoulder and instantly drew her out of this shitty state and back into this feeling of love. And you could see all of a sudden her entire body shifted. She stopped crying instantly and went straight back into this beautiful state. And this is the power of being able to anchor this stuff in. Ivor, share with everybody, just a few little things, just about how to actually anchor something in like a powerful state. How would somebody be able to do that right here, right now, tonight, to be able to get themselves into a really good state of mind and be able to anchor that in that they could then use at a later date?
Well, there's a couple of different ways, and the way that you explained it was perfect in a way. And there's a couple of ways that you can do it. And I always say a great way for me to use it, because it's very hard. Like if you say on my shoulder, for instance, and you see Tony actually do that quite often, and he will anchor somebody, and you'll actually use his hand and then anchor somebody on their shoulder in a way, and then he can come back to that state of being, and then just touch them on the shoulder, and they'll kind of like open up in a way. However, when you're actually having a look at for ourselves, and we want to create that state of being, I often say to people, it's about being able to just simply press your thumb and your first finger together in a way, okay? But you do it with your left hand, not with your right hand, but your left hand, because we don't do this with our left hand, obviously. Okay, if you're right-handed, this is normal. Like, some people is normal, okay? But if you do this with your left hand, it's not natural. It's not something that we naturally do. So what you can actually do is you can actually stand there and actually, go through a process of where you actually think of something that gives you joy, and you can do what we call an emotional flood. And every time you do that emotional flood and you feel that feeling of happiness, and you bring that feeling of happiness forward, you can actually take it higher and higher and higher. And as you feel it and you get more and more joyful, as you get to that crescendo, which is like that absolute highest feeling, you touch your thumb and your first finger together. That's a great anchor, and that's an anchor that I use often, because what actually happens is nobody notices me touching my first finger and my thumb together. Because I could have my hand in my pocket and be touching my first thumb and my thumb together. Nobody will see it. There's a lot of people that, of course, the next stage is obviously people actually going off and pumping their chest like Tony Robbins does. And again, that's more a show of you do that by yourself, but you create different anchors. And the anchors that I like using is definitely the one with the thumb and the first finger, because it's really small. And every time you do an emotion, you choose an emotion and you intensify it, and you get that feeling stronger, and you get it stronger, and you get it stronger until it's a 10 out of 10. And then once it gets to 10 out of 10, you then anchor it, and then you release. And then you take the next emotion and you take that to 10 out of 10, then you anchor and release. And then you take that to 10 out of 10, and you choose any emotion. So it could be happiness, it could be joy, it could be love, laughter, fun, whatever you want, whatever's going to emit an emotion in your body in a way. And what you can then do is when you can test it by when you press your thumb and your first finger together, you ask yourself, so what's now flowing through my body? And it's amazing, like when you actually do this with an individual, you'll actually see how somebody can actually do it in a way. Okay, that's the fastest way we can actually do it. I can do it right now with everybody, if you like. Okay, but of course, I'm not going to be able to get feedback, so you just got to play along with me on this. Would like to do that? Would like to get a great strong anchor tonight and have some state management, or not state management, or anchor management, not anger management, anchor management in a way.
Mate, I think it's going to look. Even the people who don't understand what this is, let me give you a little framework, right? This is something that you can call on at any stage. This is just another tool that you can have in your tool belt. What I would highly suggest is whatever you're doing right now, just put it down, get your pens and paper, just put them down for a minute. I want you to just get into a space where you can sit here and watch Ivor over the next little bit, and just promise me that you'll play full out for the next few minutes. Ivor's going to run through a little bit and just do the exercise, think the feelings, intensify as much as you can, and really stay present over the next few minutes, and you'll get something, a little gift. This is just a gift. So Ivor, mate, I'm going to turn my thing off just for a moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So everybody, the best way that you're actually going to feel this feeling is to actually stand up where you are. Stand up where you are right now. So, if you want to turn on your cameras, that's okay, because everybody's going to have their eyes closed. And if you're standing up, that's great. If you don't want to put on your cameras, that's okay as well. But that just gives me a little bit of a feedback about where you're at in a way, because I like to be able to see people do this. However, let's take you through the process. So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor a couple of emotions, okay? And the emotions that we want to anchor is going to be something like, let's anchor happiness, let's anchor joy, let's anchor love, because I think those are the are three, and we can always anchor more, and you can always learn this and do this later on. So all of those that are you can either sit down and do this, but I highly suggest that you stand up and do it. Okay. So wherever you are right now, stand up and be comfortable and just close your eyes. Okay. Be comfortable and close your eyes right now. Trust the process and just simply breathe. And I want you to breathe in. So nice deep breath in and all the way from the belly, and then breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you keep breathing, and as you have your eyes closed, I want you to really just think about the happiest moments that you've ever seen and ever had in your life. Okay, the happiest moments that you've ever had in your life. And I want you to take that happiest moment and I want you to get it to about a 4 out of 10. Okay, once you have it at 4 out of 10, I want you just to say yes. Okay, now I know that I can't hear you, but that's okay. Okay, but just say yes. So every time I go yes, I want you to go yes. So take it to 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10 and go yes. I want you to take that now up to 6 out of 10 and say yes. 7 out of 10 and yes. And remember, you're building that feeling of happiness. Happiness all the way through your body. Feel that happiness flowing through your body right now. That feeling of happiness. And take it and build it and make sure that you have it to a 7 out of 10 and say yes. And you keep growing that feeling, and feeling of happiness grows to 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 and say yes. 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. When you have it at 9 out of 10, say yes. 10 out of 10 and let it bring it on. Make it stronger, make it stronger. Turn on the volume and make that feeling of happiness. See that feeling of happiness. See what you saw. Feel what you felt. Smell what you smelt. Just smell it all around you. That feeling of happiness and joy. Just feel that happiness coming through your body. Feel that happiness. And right now, if you can see it, that's great. See how you saw happiness. Feel how you felt happiness. Smell how you smelled happiness. Just keep that feeling going. And make it 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And when you got it to 9 out of 10 and you say yes. Okay, great. 9 out of 10, yes. 9 out of 10, yes. Okay, now we're going to push it. We're going to push it to 10 out of 10. Intensify it again. And what I want you to do is to expand your vision a little bit stronger, make it clearer. And I want you to just get that feeling and get that feeling sensation throughout your whole body. How does your body feel? How does it sound? What does the sound of happiness feel like? It might be laughter. What does that sound of happiness feels like? What does that sound of happiness feels like? And then, of course, you know, if you can smell that smell that was going on at the same time, that'll be great as well. So as you take that feeling of happiness, that sight of happiness, what does it feel like? What does it sound like? What do you see? What does happiness look like to you? Okay. And as you intensify that feeling and you have it at 10 out of 10, say yes. Okay. Say yes. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to intensify it. And what we're going to do is anchor it. Now, if you're right-handed, don't use your right hand. If you're left-handed, don't use your left hand. What I want you to do is use the opposite hands in a way. If you're right-handed, I want you to use your left hand, and I want you to touch your first finger and your thumb together. If you're left-handed, you want to use your right hand and touch your thumb and your first finger together. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take you up to 10 out of 10 again, okay, because that was the practice run. I've been just running the practice run with you, but we're going to do it again and again and again until you get it, in a way, okay? So I wanted to just run through that feeling of actually creating happiness But now what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you to do it again and do it at 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And when you get a 10 out of 10 and you have that absolute strongest feeling of happiness throughout your whole body, what you're going to do is touch your thumb and your first finger together and say yes. But every time we're going to hit a new level, we're just going to say yes. So I want you to practice this wherever you are right now, is just say yes, because when you say yes, it will enter your being. And that is another way to anchor through words in a way. Okay. So what you're going to do is close your eyes again and just settle down a little bit and just breathe. Just breathe in. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Now we're going to go to 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Now you're going to see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, your whole body, feel that sensation flowing through your body. Hear the sounds that you heard. See what happiness sounded like. And if you can taste it, well, that's even better in a way. So as you bring it up to 5 out of 10, say yes. So once you get to 5 out of 10, say yes. And we're going to intensify it. Just follow me again. And we're going to intensify it again to 7 out of 10. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt. And just taste that feeling of absolute exhilaration, of happiness flowing through your body right now. 7 out of 10, and yes. Okay, 8 out of 10, yes. And bring it. Feel that feeling. Feel that feeling. Feel that feeling. Feel that feeling coming through. See what you saw. Feel that feeling of absolutely being happy. And just bring it. 9 out of 10, yes. And then bring it to 10 out of 10. Now bring it up really, really strong. This is the big one. 10 out of 10, yes. We're not anchoring yet. We're just going to bring it to 10 out of 10. Yes. Now we're going to take it actually beyond 10 out of 10. Now you're going to break the barriers, remember. 12 out of 10 and 15 out of 10. We're going to go to 12 out of 10. Right now, go and be and feel that strength of happiness. Feel that vibration of happiness throughout your being. Hear what you heard. Feel what you felt. And it's got to almost vibrate. You've got to feel that vibration of happiness through your body. And when you get it to 12 out of 10, say yes. Then bring it up again. Bring it up again. And then as you get it to 15 out of 10, bring it all the way. And now it's just like, oh my goodness, it just want to flow all the way out of your body. It's now just flowing throughout your whole being. And just say yes. 15 out of 10, yes. Okay, now we're going to anchor it. Okay, so 15 out of 10 and anchor and say yes. Anchor and say yes. Anchor and say yes. We're going to do it 3 times. Ready? Let's take it to 15 out of 10. Feel that feeling of absolutely that vibration of happiness flow through your body. And let's go. 15 out of 10. Yes. Anchor. Yes. Anchor. Yes. Anchor. Wow. Isn't that great? Let's have that feeling of that flowing through your body right now. Feel that feeling of happiness and joy. That feeling of happiness flowing through your body. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. So now, happiness is great, but now we're going to do another one. We're going to stack it. We're going to put joy on top of it. Joy is another emotion that we have, isn't it? It's like beyond actually doing just feeling that happiness in our body. We're going to feel joy. So when you come on, I want you to really get into the sense of being, of feeling joy in your body. So I'm just going to talk you through it. I'm not going to tell you what to see, hear, or sound. I'm just going to say, feel that feeling of joy flowing through your body. And we're going to take it to 5. We're going to take it to 7. We're going to take it to 8. We're going to take it to 10. And when you get to 15, I want you to automatically just connect and anchor with your left hand or your right hand, whichever one you choose. Okay. So I'm going to use less and less words as we go through this right now. We're going to use less and less words. Okay. So let's feel that feeling of joy and feel it at 5 out of 10. Close your eyes wherever you are. 5 out of 10. Feel that feeling of joy. And when you get to that feeling of 5 out of 10, say yes. And just take it up. Take it up to 7 out of 10. And yes, 10 out of 10. Feel that feeling of joy. Feel that feeling of joy. See what you heard. And hear what you heard. See what you saw. Feel what you felt. Maybe even taste what it tasted like. What does joy taste like to you? And just take that feeling of joy and take it to 12 out of 10. Fantastic. 12 out of 10, 15 out of 10. Bring it on. Bring on joy. And as you bring on that joy, feel that feeling of joy. And now we're going to anchor it 3 times, okay? That feeling of joy. So 15 out of 10, joy, anchor. Joy, anchor. Joy, anchor. Yes. Feel that feeling. Yes. Okay. And just feel that feeling flow. Now we're doing something called stacking. We've got happiness and we've got joy. Now, one other thing that we can put on top of that is just pure love. Love is the essence of our being all the time. Okay. So what are you going to do is you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to see what you saw. You're going to hear what you heard, and you're going to feel what you felt. And even if you could taste it as well, think about it and see it the way that you want to see it, whichever is best for you ultimately. So what are you going to go? Love. So find a moment in time that you felt love. Find that most precious moment that you had love. It doesn't matter when it was, doesn't matter with who it was, as long as it was love and it was pure love for you at that moment in time. Once you have that feeling of love, let's take it to 5 out of 10. Great, and say yes. 6 out of 10, and yes. 7 out of 10, and yes. Love. 8 out of 10, and yes. 9 out of 10, yes. 10 out of 10, yes. Okay, now it's 10 out of 10. Now it's oozing, isn't it? Love is just oozing out of your being. So we're going to take it to 12 out of 10 and 15 out of 10. Let's take it to 12 out of 10. Let's go. 12 out of 10 and feel that feeling of love flowing through your body. It's bursting out. Now we're going to take it to 15 out of 10. And let's take it all the way to 15 out of 10. And when we get to 15 out of 10, we're going to go yes and anchor, yes and anchor, yes and anchor. Okay? And we're going to get a 15 out of 10. Let's build it up to 15 out of 10. Feel that feeling of love flowing through your being. Flow through your being. Flow through your being. And as you get there, 15 out of 10, yes, anchor. 15 out of 10, yes, and anchor. 15 out of 10, yes, and anchor. Okay, great, great. Just feel that feeling of love flowing through you. And now simply just breathe. And just bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Just bring it down. And just calm yourself down into a feeling of just being here, being present, and having that energy flow through your body wherever you are right now. The feeling of happiness, of joy, of love, just flowing through your being right now. Just feel it being, that vibration entering your body and just flowing through your body. Just allow it. Just allow it to be with you. Just allow it to be with you. Now, what I want you to do is, while you're on the spot, I want you just to shake your hands. To shake your hands and shake it out. Shake it out and just rock around and step around a little bit and do the bit of the jig. Okay, that's great. That's great. Now stand still. And I want you to observe something. Close your eyes. And the fingers that you used to anchor yourself, I want you to press those fingers together and tell me, not tell me right now, but feel the sensation that you feel. What do you feel? Does it feel any different for you? Okay. So I'm going to bring you back in. I'm going to count till 3 and you're going to have a big smile in your face and you come back into the room. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, great. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Well done, guys. The guys that I saw at the moment, well done. Well done. Congratulations. Okay. So you guys can turn on your microphones. I'd love to know how you felt and how you feel now that you've actually done this. Could you go do a marathon right now?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
What I feel is actually peace, inner peace.
Sure, sure.
It's actually kind of blank all of a sudden with the release.
Yes.
And with the joy, that was like the first thing. It was hugging my daughter because she's far away. And that's something I really, really want. And the second was the birth of my children. That's the most joyous thing that is. And then after that came inner peace. So
Sure. So at the moment, if you had to touch your first finger and your thumb together, how do you feel?
yeah,
Good.
good.
Yes,
Actually, yeah.
good. Excellent. I know Fatmir wants to tell us something. He's like grinning from cheek to from ear to ear there. You want to unmute yourself there?
Yes, of course. It's really a pleasure. I have missed the last week really because we have already been familiar together.
How you
You
feel
are,
when you touch your first finger and your thumb together, my friend?
it's happened something to the brain and to the mind. It's something some good feeling inside us.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I have using meditation before, but this technique I have never tried before. It's very special. It's I feel like we memorize ourselves inside. So it's very important to each of us because we have every day different kind of situation, different kind of feeling. So this moment it was very special really. So you are incredible to advise such.
Yeah, look, and what you can do is you can even stack more. Okay, you can stack as many as you want, as many emotions as you want to feel. If you want to have focus, if you want to have, determination, if you want persistence, any emotion that you want, you can just stack it on top of each other. And the brilliant thing is that the more you stack it and the more you go through this type of exercise, the more stronger it will feel. Because we have something in our body that's called muscle memory. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, why do I stay in such a great state? Well, one of the reasons why I stay in a great state is because I have the privilege and the pleasure of being able to coach sometimes 8 hours a day when I'm in state for 8 hours a day. Okay, you got to feel that when you're in that frame of mind, when you're connected with another human being and you're completely immersed in what they say and do, you not only remember it, but your body remembers it well. So there's a lot of memory that actually happens inside of our body. So, when sometimes and some of my business partners will know, is that sometimes when I'm wanting to get creative, I actually stand out of my chair and I actually got to walk around to get creative, because that's part of my being. Like if I sit down, I cannot be creative. I'll fall asleep most times, because for me, sitting down means sleeping. And I don't sit a lot, either way, but either when I'm sitting down or when I'm on a bed, that means I'm sleeping. But generally, if I'm standing up and walking around, that's when I'm at my most creative, in a way. And that's the reason why you notice that I have a wireless headset, and the wireless headset is a particular reason, because it allows me to move around from where I am, in a way. And, I've done over 15,000 coaching sessions like this. So it's something that's innate in my being. And it's a privilege. And I don't think a lot of people have this opportunity to be able to drive this sort of behavior into their body. And I've been very privileged to do it over time. And it's as soon as I wake up at any single moment in time, I'm already in state. So I don't have to engage. I don't have to do any priming. I don't have to do any incantations. And if you want to know this, you can vet and verify this with people that have stayed with me and lived with me, to know that actually when I get up, I'm already in state, in a way, and I'm in calm. I'm not in super excited, because a lot of people think that you need to be in a super excited state, in a way. But it's an amazing time to do it, in a way. Did you enjoy that, Shane?
Mate, it's brilliant. I love it. As I said, I was doing it myself. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't realize is out there. But not only can you anchor in the right state, you can also break patterns on stuff that you don't want to do. In fact, I've literally seen people be scared of heights, scared of. I personally had a thing that they called I don't know whether it was a real thing, but they called it ringxiety. It was like this thing here, my phone would ring all the time. And I was so stressed out about the phone calls that I would freak out when the phone rang. And what happened was that I actually changed that pattern in my head to put a different image in my head and put myself into a different state of mind, into a more creative state, so that when the phone rang, it actually brought different feelings back into me, and which actually helped me a lot. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do in that. In fact, I would suggest that next week that we get into a little bit more of that stuff, because I think that this is a real practicality of business material that I think really helps people without them even realizing how much it actually helps. So, mate, yeah, good stuff.
Well, let me tell you a little story around a negative state in a way, okay, and how it can impact you in a way. The same way that we talk about anchoring, and we did a very positive way of anchoring, okay. And there was a gentleman that father died, okay, which you have a funeral, okay, and everybody, when he was deeply upset with his father dying, and people would come to the funeral, and and every time, of course, when they saw him, at a normal funeral, they give you a hug in a way, okay, that's the tradition. They give you a hug and console you in it. And he was in a really mournful state, and of course it was a big funeral, so a lot of people came to give him well wishes, and kept hugging him and kept hugging him and kept hugging him, and of course he had this hugs all day long in an incredibly mournful state, okay, and he went on with his life and everything else, and and he couldn't figure out what was the problem. Okay, because he would go out with his girlfriend at the time, and she would hug him, and he would feel miserable. Yeah. And he could not figure out the reason why every time she gave him a hug, he felt miserable. He couldn't figure it out.
Mm.
But because he had been in a really mournful state, in a very sad state, being hugged all the time, okay, when his girlfriend decided to give him a hug, even if it was a joyful thing, he would feel incredibly sad, and it was so bad. Like he would absolutely get so depressed just from a hug in a way. So you would say to people, "Don't hug me."
Yeah.
And people would go, "What do you mean, don't hug me?" Because he picked it up that every time somebody hugged him, you kept feeling bad about it, and people would think that actually that he was being unkind or not a good playmate, if you want to put it that way. And his girlfriend was concerned until one day he found out about something called neuro-linguistic programming, which is what we're doing today, which is all about anchor. And somebody actually showed him how to release that anchor. Once he released it and he put it into it, that's it right there, and released the anchor, he then was able to enjoy hugs for a very long time. Now, it's actually quite interesting because a lot of the times, we were introduced to hugs probably in the best way possible, in a way, because we were introduced into hugs in a way at a Tony Robbins event when we didn't really hug a lot, in a way, and when you actually have that intense feeling of joy, and you have this for days upon days upon days, and when somebody now gives you a hug, you can actually feel the joy, and that's the reason why a lot of Tony Robbins, attendees and participants and people that have gone love to get hugs, and it's simply because it locks in a great feeling for them as well. But it's got to be done in a positive way. So if you ever have that feeling of when somebody touches you in a certain area of your body or something, and you feel just completely yuck, I would put it that way, pay attention to that and say, actually, wait a minute, I need to actually either go do some kinesiology, because a kinesiologist could help you through that and release that as well, or you need to go somebody that can actually understands either hypnotherapy or NLP to be able to release that anchor.
Super powerful stuff, mate. I agree. Fantastic. Well, that is some genuine, life stuff that you can actually take away tonight. I told you that these are powerful things. Like when we get into all of this stuff, we start dealing with some of the skill sets that Ivor and even myself have picked up along the way. We've done lots of this stuff. We've done it in big stages. I remember there's plenty of little things that you can do along this. We just did a big course up in far north Queensland where we actually had everybody work an anchor so religiously over and over again that when they put their hands out, their fingers actually stuck together. They physically couldn't pull their hands apart because we had actually created an anchor there that gave them the impression that their fingers were stuck together. And when you realize how powerful this is about unlocking, not only understanding how your brain works, but unlocking the power that a lot of other companies have over you as well. Jingles, TV advertisements, stuff like that, that there is a sound that goes over and over and over again. And believe it or not, you will anchor that sound in and you will do certain reactions around that. So this is about understanding who you are, understanding how to control your thought processes around that. Make sure that you put the right patterns in place that you do want, eliminate the patterns that you don't want, and be able to take full control of how you go forward, not only as a human being, but as a business leader as we move into the new age. Mr. Ivor, great work tonight, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, my friend. So I think I think we're going to leave people in the space of just the feeling of absolute happiness, joy, and love at the moment. I'm not going to break this by actually getting them to ask any questions, because if I get them to ask any questions, I'm going to take them out of the state of being. And I want to keep you guys in the state of being for as long as you can. Now, what you can do is you can find this video again in the Surviving Business Facebook page or on YouTube, and you can re-listen to it again and redo it again. Because when you redo it again, okay, it will actually make and intensify the feeling even more. Okay, the more you do it, if you do this for the next 7 days, for the next 10 days, for the next 21 days, the anchor will be so strong in your body that by the time you actually even think about touching your fingers and your thumb together, it will activate. So sometimes it's not always about touching it together. Sometimes thought is even that powerful that you even imagine you touching your finger and your thumb together, and you will actually feel the sensation flow through your body. So it's that whole power of being able to control our mind, control our being. And this is, these are definitely techniques that everybody can use and everybody can learn. And it's definitely in NLP. Ultimately.
And tomorrow night, we're going to be kicking off again. We've got a big guest coming in. We've got a buddy of mine. He is a strategic thinker. He is a business turnaround master. He used to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers. Very good friend of mine, doing a little tough. He's actually had a few health concerns. I'll let him tell his own story. But he's a gentleman that knows how to fight the fight. He's fell down several times, and he is pushing through, and he's a very good friend of mine, and Mr. Philip Olsen, and I look forward to having him tomorrow night. So we kick off around, I think it's 8:30 tomorrow night, Ivor.
8:30 it is, yep, 8:30 tomorrow evening, and look forward to having a conversation with him tomorrow evening. And everybody that came, I hope you got some great value today. It wasn't always, I always say, it isn't always what you want, it is what you need. So we hope that you've received this blessing of needing this and learning something of how to actually put this into action very, very amazingly in a way.
Can I say just 1 minute, please, something?
Yes, sure.
This is very powerful method. I'm very grateful, but it's very important how we treat ourselves and how we feel inside. Of course, how we speak with public. Because if we have a lot of feeling from inside the public, they understand better than we are original people. we are own personality, own thoughts, own. It's something else, like leadership with heart. Like I do myself, I help people with my heart, you know, because I think always like I'm sitting always to the other side's position. So feeling it's very important, and emotion, like you say, with a lot of emotion, you can go every time up, up, up. So it's fantastic, of course, to discuss this together, and we can make incredible things. I hope so.
100%. Look, well, you know, the thing is, you control your emotions, you control your life, ultimately. Shane, it's been amazing to have you on here, my friend, and I wish you well, and I'll see you back on here tomorrow. And
You bet.
everybody
I'll
else,
see everybody
stay safe and
tomorrow
stay
night.
home.
Get your questions. Ask Phil some questions tomorrow night. And we'll see you on there tomorrow night. Enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you very much, all.
Be amazing,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.